Welcome to the Fireball Mullet channel. In today's video, we're installing some super cool headlights, man. These things are by Seth Starbuck Innovation Designs. I got to tell you, man, I'm very particular about what headlights I wanted to upgrade to. These things are perfect. They're like modern lights. They're so bright, and I'll show you in today's video. We're going to first do an install, then I'm going to do some video footage of how they look both day, night, and we'll take a look at some driving video as well. And in the driving video, it'll progressively get darker and darker. It was kind of dusk when we started out, but as you can see that sort of progress, you'll see it getting darker and darker. And so we'll try some low beams, some high beams. Now, the headlights were not adjusted yet on this, but I think you'll get a great idea. And the GoPro kind of shows a weird angle because I had it off to the left, but I guarantee you these things are super crisp and they have a nice line to them. I hate LED lights that you would buy off eBay or something and they just blind everybody, right? These things have a nice line to it, and they also have a LED at the top that's going to be a running light, a white running light like a modern car, but you're also going to have like an amber light for the turn signal. So man, these things are pretty simple to set up. It's about 90% plug and play. 10% of it is just wiring in your DRL into your running light as well as your turn signal light. So let's get right to the installation, guys. Show you a little bit of the lights here. Nice setup here. Comes with everything you need. That's with a little trim ring. So all this is manufactured by them. So you got a little ring here that's going to replace sort of your stock retainer. And of course you got that one back here, which kind of fits in there nice. And then you got the actual light here, sealed beam. It's got the LED on top, which is your DRL, which is going to be white, and then amber turn signal. And then you got this beautiful headlight here, and then of course we got the plug, and then you got the two wires here. I believe those two will be hooking up into the turn signal and the stock running light, which is going to be right below it. And in my case, I already have his set up for that too, so we're just going to hook them into that, as you can see here. So it should be pretty straightforward install, guys. Pretty excited about it. These things look awesome, and I just never been happy with my headlights. I kind of never replaced them yet. The guy I bought it from got some cheap eBay housings, and then I ended up putting some LEDs in them. They're okay. They can, you know, I can see better than stock, but definitely not what I want. I really want a clean line on these. He also includes the necessary just to transform your stock connector to make these work. So he's got some instructions on that and how to plug these up to this end up into your stock plug. This goes into the light, and he provides all that. Really, the only thing you have to do is just wire in your two lights here for your DRL and your turn signal. That's really the only custom thing you'll need to do at this point. So let's get right to it. We'll go ahead, remove the two lights. You just have two screws on top for each one. There's two screws on the bottom, but on this model you're not going to be able to get to those screws. But on the bottom of the metal bracket is a little U shape, so if you've got the screw loose enough, it should just kind of, the bracket here, the trim ring will just kind of pop up. So that's the way we're going to do it. So let's go ahead, remove these two screws, and the other side, got to unplug the lights behind it. There we go. Go ahead and remove it. There we go. Just remove each one, then we'll go ahead and install it. It's really that easy. Okay, now I'm going to take you in here real quick. Now, the new trim rings have basically the top just like the metal ones. Now, we'll give you a tip. Make sure you straighten up the top metal here. Don't be screwing it in and expect this to pull in. Just make sure you take some needle nose and you kind of align these a little bit better here so they're flat, flush up against this. The other tip I got is these two bottom screws. Back those out a little bit because this is going to be a little bit thicker than your metal ring there. You can see your metal ring is pretty thin. So you're going to want to back those out. And the trick for me is you just kind of get your finger underneath that and hold it up while you put a screwdriver to it. So that's the way I did it. Hopefully that works out for you. So now these are ready for the new lights to be installed. So you really have three pieces to this. You've got the light itself, and you've got kind of the back trim ring here. This goes on the back, and you'll see here when you mount these, you want to make sure that this is flush up against this metal here. Okay, so you want to make sure that's like that, pretty flush. If it's not, it's going to be, you know, sticking up a little bit, and you don't want to, again, you don't want to pull it in with the screw because this is plastic. Okay, so just make sure that's all. Then of course you got the front, which you're gonna mount the light onto. So we'll go ahead, we'll put all the trim pieces back on the light, and then we'll go ahead and put it in. Let's kind of put this on there. And then this is gonna be the top of the light. Now all four of these lights are exactly the same. It's just the way you wire them that makes them low versus high beam. So you don't have to worry about mixing the lights up. So that's the way it looks. You can see there, you got the back trim, you got the front trim, and it's ready to go. Just put your wires through it, and then the trick is you want to line these up. Again, you want to back those screws out and just kind of roll this in there if you can, which is a little tricky. It's got to go inside of this little light here. There. So you got to kind of finesse it a little bit. Get that in there, and then just kind of, it might get in the way of this adjuster screw, just push it down. So you just gotta kind of work with it a little bit, but take your time, you'll get it. Just don't force anything. All right, that's ready to be screwed in. We'll go ahead, put the top screws in, and we're done installing. And then we just got to go ahead and get the wiring set up. Just like that, got them on. So again, 2 screws here. You might have to push it down and get it past this adjuster here. You might have to push it over to align it perfectly. So you're just gonna, you know, again, I just wouldn't like try to align the screw and just, you know, screw it in with any kind of power tools or anything like that. Use a hand screwdriver. Again, this is plastic, so you want to make sure it's lined up pretty well here as you're sort of putting the screw in. So that's my only tip there, but kind of look at it, man. Very cool. So we'll go ahead, hook the lights up. And we're going to use one of these on the low beam, and then the high beam, to run it like a stock, we're going to run low beams on the inside, high beams on the outside. And there is an option where you could wire it where the high beam I think is also low beam, but we're going to just keep this stock. So on the high beam, you just plug it up, and on the third prong here, push that prong on the outside of the plug, and the high beams are ready to go. And then on the low, you want to use this. He's got instructions on how that works. Basically plug this into the light, and then plug these into your stock plug, and the colors go in a certain way. And then we've got to wire up the LEDs, the running light, and also turn signal light. So we'll go ahead, wire that up, and we're just going to tie it into the side marker light wiring here. So we'll do that in shortly. So it's pretty easy. The high beams are in the center here. Low beams are on the outside. So the high beams, your stock plugs are going to only have a 2 prong. So the third prong, just bend that out a little bit. Maybe we'll put some electrical tape or shrink tubing around it or something like that. And again, this is for when we hook it up to the side marker light so we can get the blinkers and the running lights going. So I haven't done that yet, but just to show you how to get the headlights working. And then you've got the harness that he provides here, just plugs into the light, and the other end here, they're just spade connectors, and they plug in like this with the black on the right, the yellow on the left, and the red on the bottom sort of plug there. You can see how that works. So once you do that, you got working lights again. Pretty sweet. And from there, we're just gonna make up a harness, because I'm gonna join this one and this one together for each one of the circuits, and then I'll go ahead and wire it to the side marker light, and one wire will be for the running lights and one wire will be for the turn signals. So I'll kind of join these two together because there's 4 connectors here, so there's no sense of splicing into except for one time. So that's kind of the plan there, but wee, boy, nice. And of course we got the running lights to match. I made this little harness here basically, and the way it's going to work is I kind of joined the 2 wires together. This is going to be one for the high beam, one for the low beam, right? And that's going to be from the, one's the turn signal, one is the running lights. Then we're going to have the other one. So basically we kind of joined them here, so we're only going to have one circuit kind of going through. And then I'm going to connect this one to the existing brown wire coming off of the running lights. And then I'm also going to connect this one, which if you look, it'll actually be on the yellow one. That's going to go to the blue wire, the yellow one. So that'll gray, I'll connect that gray, and then I'll connect that to the blue wire going into the side marker light. So let me go ahead and get this hooked up. Then we'll go ahead and I'll show you on this side. So I already tried it, so we're all good here. But we went ahead, connected those, if you can see it. So again, you got 4 connections because you got 2 on each headlight, right? And so one wire is going to run the running lights, and then when you turn your turn signal on, the other wire is going to make them both signal. So that's the idea there. So the other thing is I picked up some of these quick splices, so I'll go ahead, tie them into the existing harness for the front running lights, and that should be pretty easy. So when you plug here, you got 2 wires, a yellow one and a white one. So basically I have this little wire harness that I built. It basically is 2 wires wide into each other like I showed you. This gray one, I wish I had a yellow one so I could just match it all the way through, but this is going to be the yellow wire. We're going to hook this up to the blue wire on your stock side marker light or your running lights, which I'm going to do mine on the running lights here. So we got that one, and then I've got this brown on the white right here, and this brown is going to hook into your stock brown wire. So basically your white to your stock brown, and then your yellow to your stock blue color, and that's really all it is. So got that hooked up. Go ahead and hook up this other one. So I'm basically tying these 2 together, so I only have to hook up, splice one into the running lights there. So that's really all that we're doing. All right, I got those hooked up. Now these 2 wires here, I'm just going to run down underneath the car, and then I'm going to take these 2 quick splices, hook it in underneath the car for the blue and the brown wire. That's your stock circuits, and then that should be it. So let's check it out. So there's the wires there. Now this is where I have it spliced to the Starbuck Innovations front vented signals of DRLs that he has that I put on. You saw the video on that. Now he has them where they're plug and play. They basically, you just, instead of the socket, it plugs right into the socket. But one of his first sets, you had to splice it in. So anyway, the blue wire and then the brown wire, those are the 2 we're going to splice this new little harness that I made, and that should be really it. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll bring you back. All right, so there you go. Got them connected in. We'll just zip tie, get everything cleaned up. That's it. So there they go. Let's go ahead, get these zip tied, get them all cleaned up, put the little loom back on it, and we should be all set. We'll test it out. All right, guys, that's today's video. I hope you got it. Just, I hope I was able to illustrate how amazing these things are. I'm so happy with them, man. I just come out here and pull the lights on, man, and just come out here and check it out. In fact, yesterday I did that and I left them on completely overnight and I had to charge my car. So anyway, man, I hope you guys enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel and I really appreciate it. Again, I need to go ahead and adjust these lights, but I think you guys will get an idea of the quality and how amazing these things really look. So we'll catch you on the next video, guys.